Alright, you guys can read the thumbnail and title, and it's exactly as it says. As in today's video, I'm going to be fixing some of the character teams from the Pokemon Adventures manga, mainly to see if I can make some of these bad teams into better teams. Now when I say fixing, take that with a grain of salt, because for some of these teams I'm just going to be changing one Pokemon and calling it there. Also, I have to mention, I don't hate any of these teams or Pokemon. Most of the choices are realistically fine, but I think they could have been different, maybe to match more of their appearance, personality, or their overall story narrative. So without wasting any time, let's get straight into things with Red's team. Red's usual team consists of Pikachu, Poliwrath, Venusaur, Aerodactyl, Snorlax, and Gyarados. Not too bad considering he's a Generation 1 trainer, but when it comes down to his character, his team's kind of lacking. What I mean by this is Red is a battler. He constantly wants to fight strong opponents and test his skills, much like Ash. However, where Ash struggles with not evolving his Pokemon, Red struggles by not having type balance. And in my opinion, this is due to not having a fire type, which is pretty important for a battler. Although his team does have coverage for every type fire is super effective against, it also leaves him extremely vulnerable to electric types, with half of his team being weak to them. So for that reason, I'd rather remove one of his Pokemon for a different one. And the three potential options are Poliwrath, Gyarados, and Aerodactyl, since they overlap in some ways. Poliwrath is a no-brainer to stay, as it's his first Pokemon and it's what makes him unique compared to the other Reds. And Aerodactyl has to stay since it's his only form of flying, leaving the only choice being Gyarados. I know this Mon can be a beast in the competitive scene, but it really has no reason being here in the manga. They tried to justify it by having Red needing a surfing Mon, but they could have given that move to Poliwrath. It also doesn't help that his typing is already split between Poly and Aero, so for those reasons, I've decided to take him off the team. And to take its place, I've decided on Ninetales. Pokemon Red did technically catch before, but Blue unfairly stole it off him. Having this Pokemon gives Red some more balance to his team, as well as more options. And Ninetales doesn't really get used by main characters often, so it'll be cool to see it. To keep things in Kanto, our next trainer is going to be Yellow. Yellow's team is straight trash, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've got Pikachu, Dodrio, Urshifu, Golem, Omastar, and Eradicate. Individually, these Pokemon aren't the worst I guess, especially for Gen 1, but together, they just suck. Her team dies to Electric, Ice, Fighting, and Ground, and it's so painful to see it. But at the same time, that's why it's so perfect. Yeah, so Yellow actually hates battling, and she's a rookie trainer. Over half her team was gifted to her, and the other two she had help catching. As for the last one, it chose to go with her. She's looking for friends to live alongside, not Pokemon to bring to a life and death final match, and that's okay. But despite this, there's still a change that I would like to make, and that change is removing Golem. Graveler and Omanyte were gifted to her by Brock and Misty, respectively, but I think this was a massive missed opportunity to give her, instead of a Graveler, a Kabuto. This would let her have both fossil Pokemon that share the same type, signifying the bond between the Pokemon and their trainers too. Brock's already the Geodude guy in the manga, so there's no need for him to give another one to Yellow. Instead, make it more unique for her. And of course, this Pokemon would eventually evolve too. Next on the list, we have my favorite character, Gold. So you already know if I'm going to be making any changes, it pains my heart to do so, as his Pokemon are my favorite. His team usually consists of Typhlosion, Ambipom, Politoed, Togekiss, Sudowoodo, Sunflora, and Pichu. Yeah, he carries around 7. As you can tell, this guy isn't primarily a battler either. His team is filled with interesting Gen 2 Pokemon though, which is necessary as a Gen 2 rep. But I think we can do even better. What I mean is Generation 2's mechanic, Pokemon breeding, which just so happens to be Gold's speciality. With this in mind, I think his team should reflect the fact that he excels at this. So for his new team, I've gone with Typhlosion, Ambipom, Politoed, Togekiss, Sudowoodo, Pichu, and Hitmontop. Replacing Sunflora with Hitmontop is a change that pains me, since I really like his Sunflora, but Hitmontop evolves from the baby Pokemon Tyro, so it fits him well, as well as the fact that they both have an unorthodox way of fighting. There are other baby Pokemon available like Elekid and Magby, which would go hard, I won't lie, especially if he evolved them into an Electivire and Magmortal. But since he already has Typhlosion and Pichu, they can't really fill that role. Now we have the infamous Emerald and his team, which is easily in contender for being the worst. Emerald's team consists of Sceptile, Dusclops, Sudowoodo, Snorlax, Mr. Mime, and Mantine. Now, you may have noticed that his Pokemon are repeats from other characters, namely Sudowoodo and Snorlax. Heck, even Gold and Crystal have a Mr. Mime and Mantine. The reasoning for this was due to these Pokemon all getting baby forms in the next generation. but that shouldn't be the reason why his team has to be the sacrifice for this teasing. Out of the 6 Pokemon Emerald has, we see him create a genuine bond with Sceptile, Dusclops, and unfortunately Sudowoodo. So I think these 3 have to be staples. I would however evolve his Dusclops into a Dusknoir. As for the last 3, they were all just last minute additions, so they can easily be replaced. He's the Hoenn Dex holder, so I think he should get more Hoenn Mons, namely Whiscash, Shedinja, and Sableye. Emerald likes battling on a structured level, and giving him these 3 Pokemon with standout stuff works well. Whiscash is a water type immune to electric. Sableye straight up has no weaknesses, or did have no weaknesses. And lastly, Shedinja has the unique ability Wonder Guard. I do understand that this means his team is not balanced, but I think that's fine when your main battles are in the battle frontier. Now we have another small change team, being Pearl's team. His 6 Mons are Infernape, Chatot, Luxray, Weasel, Tauros, and Diglett. Yeah, kinda odd. Realistically, the first 4 are perfectly fine, especially since Pearl likes fast Pokemon, and he kept Weasel as Weasel for story reasons. As for the last 2, there is 0 reason for them being here. Diglett can only be caught in post-game Sinnoh, which is not where he got his Diglett. And Tauros is a Pokéradar Mon, but worst of all, neither of them are Sinnoh Mons. So despite them being fast, I'm kicking them off. Some of you in the comments may be thinking now, hey, just because this trainer's from this region doesn't mean they should only have Pokemon from said region. And my reply to that is no. I think they really should have Pokemon from that region because this is a Pokemon manga and it's all about that region where the story's taking place. If it was real life, then go ahead, go with whatever Pokemon fits you. But in a story like this, they need to get their head in the game for that promotion. Now, to replace those 2 Pokemon, I've picked Roserade and Gliscor, both decently fast Pokemon from Gen 4. And they fit his team way better, giving him more typing options. And although they're Gen 4 Mons, they don't technically evolve from Gen 4 Pokemon. Well, Roserade does technically, but you get what I'm trying to say. Our next trainer is White, but I've already made a video on this one before, so to summarize, her team is Serperior, Alola, Vullaby, Duersion, Stunfisk, and Deerling. So I've changed it to Serperior, Alola, Emolga, Swordsbuck, Mandibuzz, and Shiny Cubchoo. Before I replaced Alola with Maractus, which could also work, but a comment suggested that would be too many grass types, which is also fair. We've got 2 more teams to go, and these ones had quite a few options. First up, we have Y, the Sky Trainer. In the only generation to include Sky Battles, her team is Fletchinder, Sylveon, Greninja, Rhyhorn, and Mega Absol. And can you guess how many of them can compete in a Sky Battle? Yeah, only 1, Fletchinder. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, let's go through things in order. Fletchinder is fine, but just evolve it into a Talonflame, because it's just way cooler. Sylveon, although not a flying Pokemon, is fine because of marketing reasons. Greninja has to be here because out of all the starters, it's the most agile. Rhyhorn, however, is not okay. This Pokemon being owned by her and traveling with her is 100% fine. It's part of the Lumiose crew and holds their tent. But having her be a full member of her team, I don't know. Part of Rai's story is respecting her mother, who's a Rhyhorn racer, but she can still do this without it being a main member. So I'll be replacing it and also giving her a 6th member, being Hawlucha and Noivern. These 2 are both flying Pokemon who I could 100% see flying alongside Y and her Talonflame. Now, the only issue is there's another trainer who notoriously has a Talonflame, Noivern, and Hawlucha, not to mention a Battle-Bond Greninja. This one's a bit of a dicey one, but I'm just gonna ignore the fact that Ash exists for now. And for our last trainer, we have Moon the Pharmacist, also known as Miss Poison. With a title like that, it's clear her team will have Pokemon that all relate to medicines and poisons, so we'll abide by that rule. Usually her team is Decidueye, Urini, Charjabug, Alolan Muk, and Rotom-Dex. Another trainer with 5 Pokemon that can easily be spruced up. First off, Decidueye is fine. Marini can stay, and whether it evolves or not doesn't really matter. Charjabug only exists to create cards with String Shot, so I can't really remove it even if I wanted to. But the option to evolve it is also possible. Alolan Muk is literally perfect, but Rotom-Dex should never be counted as an actual team member. It's not like that in the games, and it's not like that in the anime, so the same should go along here. Taking its place, I'll be adding Lurantis. Moon is a refined trainer, so a refined grass type like Lurantis can also join her group. And to give her a 6th Pokemon, I think it's only fair that she gets an Ultra Beast like Sun. And out of the options, the one that fits best is easily Nihilego, seeing as it's already a poison type. And now with her team like this, it really sells that she's a pharmacist focused trainer. And just like that, that's every team I changed and how I changed them. Now let's clear some things up. I understand not every trainer should have fully evolved Pokemon, but I do think they should have a full team of 6, just to showcase their region or generation's Pokemon. It's part of the reason why it's so encouraged for Ash to catch so many Pokemon, or Liko or Roy. We don't get to see these Pokemon in action outside of the games often, so if we get to see them in the anime or manga, it's really nice. There's probably some more trainers out there that have teams that you don't like, so if there's any of them, put them in the comment section down below and I'll be sure to look through them. And if you don't agree with any of the changes I made, feel free to let me know them as well. With all that said and done, make sure you like and subscribe for more Pokemon Adventures videos, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.